Hey there, welcome to Hiker Homily, yet another episode, we'll go with that, why not, of Hiker Homily. And this time it's going to be kind of fun. I want to talk, because it's that kind of season, I want to talk a little bit about a really good hiker snack for snacks when you're on hikes, and that is pumpkin seeds. How to do it yourself and not have to go to the store to get them. I mean, you're going to have to go to the store to get two pumpkins, medium-sized ones, or one large pumpkin if you can find it. If all you can find is the little ones, I guess you could get several of those. The only problem with the little ones is that tends to mean little seeds. Where if you get a medium-sized pumpkin, like I've got over here, as you can see, the seeds are still really good size, and they'll work out great when I get them in the oven. So you're going to get yourself two medium-sized pumpkins or one large pumpkin, and you're going to cut the top off just like you're doing a jack-o'-lantern. And you are going to, by hand, scoop the seeds out like I have done on the first one right here. And you're going to get them in a bowl. And that is pretty much step one. Before I jump right into part two, I do want to say something real quick about the pumpkins themselves. Now, this would be a horrible waste. I got two of these guys. One, two. They're both pretty decent sized, medium sized pumpkins. Now I've got the seeds out of them. I'll be showing you that in a minute. But this would be horrible to just throw this whole thing away. For those of you who don't know it, beyond jack-o'-lanterns and pie, no matter what season it is, if you live in the right areas, you can get pumpkins almost year-round. Pumpkins are a type of squash. They can be used just like any other type of squash, really, and pretty much prepared in almost the same ways and things like that. You can chop up the pumpkin flesh, and if you can, skin it, and you can boil that to make it soft. They can be roasted. You can puree them once you've gotten them roasted and soft and things like that to turn into things like soup. They can be put into, actually I did mention pumpkin pie. If you've never had actual pumpkin pie made from actual fresh pumpkin with, you doing the spices yourselves and things like that, it can be fantastic. Nothing compared to what you'll get like in a mass-produced grocery store made out of the factory-made pumpkin puree already spiced and things like that. If you can do it by scratch, awesome. I've done it once or twice. It's really good. But there's all kinds of things you can do with the actual pumpkins themselves, so you don't really throw them away. These guys here, because I am filming this on Halloween Day, will probably get turned into jack-o'-lanterns. And then even after you've done that, you can still retrieve them, and it depends on how things look and how long you leave them outside. They can still be retrieved and used. But if I wasn't going to be turning them into jack-o'-lanterns, these guys could be used for all kinds of things. You put them in bread to make pumpkin bread. It's just out there, folks, and online will show you all kinds of different things you can actually do with the flesh of the pumpkin itself, rather than just getting the seeds out and throwing it away. So I totally suggest that you look those kinds of things up. If you're going to do something like this, I don't want you to go out and buy a couple of pumpkins, especially if it's not around Halloween time. You don't need a jack-o'-lantern and things like that, but you want the seeds for snacks for hiking and things like that. Don't waste the pumpkin. There's a lot of things you can do with that, and it's a good, healthy part of a meal if you can do that. So keep that in mind. All right, so moving on to part two of how we're going to do things with the old pumpkin seeds. As you can see, I have removed the pumpkin seeds from the two medium pumpkins. I got a decent amount of seeds there that you can see. They're a good size. And by the way, just those of you who are keeping track, those two pumpkins I got on Halloween Day, so they're in season, $3 a piece. So I've spent a total of $6 on the two pumpkins. And I got this many seeds. You could probably spend $5 to $6 on about a bag of about half of these if you got them in the store, okay? So I'm already kind of ahead of the game doing it myself for this particular one. So we got these guys now. I did scoop the pumpkins out by hand. I know if you're doing a jack-o'-lantern, the big thing, you get that spoon, you scoop everything out and get it all smooth. If you're not going to turn them into a jack-o'-lantern, that's not as important. I am for those two, but I still did it by hand. I know, ooh, yucky, but it's okay. I did it by hand because you try your best. A little bit of it isn't a big deal, but you're going to try your best to get just the seeds and not the actual stringy pumpkin flesh in there, because that's just going to make things easier when you're pulling it out of here to put it on a pan to bake when you actually get to that stage. Okay, but for part 2, after part 1, which is getting them out of the pumpkin and getting them in the pan, I'm going to soak them in a brine for about 24 hours. And it's a very, very basic brine, in that it is literally just, I'll get it on out of here. It is literally just going to be salt and water. So I'm going to pour out about 1/4 cup of salt. All over my pumpkin seeds like that. And then, excuse me for stepping out of camera range, I'm going to put in enough water to kind of just make sure that they are all covered and they're all going to be soaked. This happens to be 2 cups of water, and that looks like that's going to be enough for these guys. So that was 2 cups of water, so basically a cup per pumpkin, as it happened to work out. And as you can see there, that is what we've got there. They're basically all soaking in the water. The brine, I'm going to mix it up a bit to make sure that the salt kind of gets all around and gets all into the water there. And then that is going to soak for approximately 24 hours, until at least overnight, until tomorrow. So that means you're going to have to stick around watching this video for probably another at least 12 hours. No, I'm just kidding. Through the magic of video editing, here we go on to step number 3. Well, hey there. Ready for step 3? Step 3, I have drained into a colander my seeds after soaking all night long. And now what I'm going to do is I've got myself a baking sheet that I have greased with EVOO, extra virgin olive oil. And then basically, you're just going to spread the seeds out. And I'll be showing you that as soon as I get it done. You're going to spread the seeds out onto the baking sheet. Now, I was able to get quite a bit of seeds from these 2 medium-sized pumpkins, so I'm probably going to end up doing 2 batches. But we're going to do the first batch here ready to go. Now I'm putting them down. I haven't toweled them off. I like to put them down a little bit wet. For several reasons. Because it's going to tend to dry out. Now we're going to take a look. So I've got them laid out on the sheet there, as you can see. Ready to go. Set you guys back over there. All right, now the seasoning part, which is kind of like step 4, and that's kind of whatever you want to do. Now I'm going to hit it. I happen to use this. You can coat these in any kind of oil you want, or EVOO. That's our oven preheating. And you can do that by pouring them on and just kind of scooping them up. I like the EVOO spray. It makes it really easy. So I do a real quick, doesn't have to be a lot, real quick spritz of that on the seeds itself, and then I'm ready to season them. Now, you can keep your seeds plain if you want to do that. That's absolutely your choice. And as far as if you want to season them, there are all kinds of ways to do that. My family likes, I'm not going to necessarily give the brand away because I'm not sponsored, but seasoning salt. Not regular salt, but seasoning salt. You can use regular salt, sea salt. You can even go for kind of a sweeter thing, maybe do a little bit of sugar, cinnamon mix on them. There's all kinds of things you can use to season the seeds. Depends on what you like. If you want it savory, do you want it sweet? You can go many directions in seasoning them. But I'm going to sprinkle these just a little bit with seasoning salt, because that is the way my family prefers to snack on them, is a little bit of a savoriness with that. They really don't look too different, but there they are, now seasoned, ready to go. The oven is preheated and ready. So that's 300 degrees. I'm going to put them in for approximately 40-45 minutes. I'll probably set my timer for right around 35 minutes so I can check them. If they look like they need another 5 minutes, I'll give them another 5 minutes. But basically what you're looking for is, once you've got them in the oven, is you want them to start to brown. And the bigger seeds will take a little longer, obviously. But we're going to go ahead and pop this in. There we go, and we'll see you in about 40 minutes through the magic of video editing. All right, my timer has gone off. It's been about 36, 37 minutes, close to 40. We're going to check our seeds. I think they look pretty good and pretty done. You check them real quick. Make sure you don't burn yourself. Yeah. Those are ready to come out. So they are going to come on out. Now I'm going to keep my oven going because I have another batch that I'm going to do. But once we've got them out of the oven, you let them cool for just a little bit. And then I'm going to, with the spatula, get them off they should come off pretty easy. Oh yeah, they move just fine. I'm going to put them in a little container. So we'll be right back for that. All right, so our seeds are ready. They're cooled off just a little bit from being in the oven. So there we go. They come right off that pan really nicely. So I'm going to move them around. Obviously, I'm holding my phone / camera in one hand, so I don't have my usual two hands to do it, but you're just going to scoop them up. Put them in the container. Now I use this plastic container that seals pretty well because I know that these are not going to sit around for a long time. Not with my family and the way we do things and the way we snack on stuff like this. These are great for hiking snacks and for all kinds of other snacks. My wife and my son do running. Not so much here in the wintertime, but we also do some kayaking and stuff like that. So yeah, we're going to be using these guys quite a bit. But that's pretty much it for pumpkin seeds. So that's really it for pumpkin seeds. And I think they make a great snack. They are a healthy snack, especially if you can get them like this. These haven't been processed in any way, shape, or form in any kind of a plant or food factory or any of that kind of thing. Literally, I went out, I bought some pumpkins, and in my area, you can get field fresh pumpkins and things like that. Bought 2 medium-sized pumpkins. I have this much from the first batch. I have at least this much more left to do. So for a total of $6 for the 2 pumpkins, I got that many seeds, and you can get about half of that for about $5 or $6 in a store if it's like the processed seeds and things like that. So for $6, I got that. Plus, I got the 2 pumpkins that I ended up using as jack-o'-lanterns. But if I was going to use them as jack-o'-lanterns, I have all of the pumpkin flesh that I can use for all kinds of different things, like I said before. Everything from soups to breads, pumpkin pie. There's all kinds of things you can do that. For $6, I end up getting several. You can end up getting several snacks, side dishes, whatever, out of out of that $6. So that's pretty good. And pumpkin's pretty healthy for you, as far as I've read. I'm no nutritionist, but everything I've read says, yeah, pretty healthy thing. So that's pumpkin seeds done as one of the types of snack foods you can bring with you on a hike. And if you do it right, you end up getting even more than just the pumpkin seeds out of it. So hope you enjoyed this kind of little different twist on Hiker Homily. I'll do a few more of these if people enjoyed it. And other than that, we'll see you next time.